How do I get into dental school? This is probably the most frequently asked question that I get. How do I get in? What classes do I take? How do I prep for the DAT? I'm gonna try to answer everything in the dental application process from A to Z in this video. So it's gonna be a long one. There's gonna be a lot of good info in it. Buckle up and let's get to it. I'm gonna preface by saying that this is what I did. This is what worked for me. Obviously, it's going to be different from person to person. But for context, let me tell you my story. Surprisingly, I did not have this burning passion for dentistry. I didn't dress up as a dentist on career day in school. My journey starts in college, specifically my third year of college. That's when I chose to do dentistry. Up until then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. In fact, that question on what you want to do for the rest of your life genuinely shook me. Like I legit would feel my chest tighten and I'd get all anxious thinking about what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And so what I did growing up was kind of just pick a career just to give me that peace of mind. So I didn't have to worry about choosing a career that would actually be fulfilling. And for the longest time, I chose optometry because it looked like a good career on paper. The schooling wasn't too hard. And so I kind of just went with it. It wasn't until I actually shadowed an optometrist for a week until I realized that I definitely did not want to do that for the rest of my life. I mean, with respect to all optometrists, it was just extremely boring. I didn't even finish the whole week of shadowing. I left after 2 days. So I shadowed physicians, pediatricians, pharmacists, physical therapists, just a whole range of different careers. And when I finally shadowed a dentist, I could actually see myself doing it. It seemed like a pretty interesting career. There's a lot of different things. You know, every patient was a bit different. It wasn't the same sort of mundane exam or test that you would run. And so I said, Bismillah, and I just went for it. And so far, after my first year of dental school, I haven't regretted that choice just yet. Now, I'm gonna assume that you are somewhere in your college journey. And during college, you want to focus on 3 main things. And I want you to write these down: shadowing, grades, and extracurriculars, in that order. And I put shadowing up there first because it's the most important. Not for you to get your required hours, but because you actually need to know if dentistry is the right career for you. And I tell this to literally anybody that asks me if they should go into dentistry or how do they choose a career, they're not sure what to pick. I tell them the same thing. You have to go and see that career in person. You have to actually put yourself there and see if you could do this as a career. Because some careers might look great on paper, but then when you actually go to shadow, when you're there in person, you're seeing it with your own eyes, you realize that I could not do this. That is extremely important. And if you're smart, you will shadow almost anything and everything. Because the more you shadow, the more experiences you'll have. It'll change your perspective on different things, and you'll just have a better rounded idea of what a career looks like. And you also need to do some self-reflection and see what you actually want. And this part probably sucks the most because you just need to sit with yourself and think, you know, what do I want my life to look like in the next 10 to 20 years? Do I want something that's super exciting and I'm traveling everywhere, but maybe I'm not able to settle down or make much money? Or do I want to work hard for a couple years and have a good paying job that'll help me raise a family, right? These are questions you have to ask yourself. What is important to you? Don't let me tell you, or anyone for that matter, tell you what career you should choose. You need to sit with yourself and just be honest and say, what's going to be important to me? Do I want to just make a bunch of money? And if so, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But you have to know in order to be able to pick a career that's going to suit your goals in the future. Now, the way I shadowed was super simple. I went on Google, I typed in dental clinics near me, and I called every single clinic within a 5-mile radius. And about 12 of them told me that they're not accepting people to shadow. And then the 13th one told me to head in. And that dentist that I shadowed, I would go to him once a week for over 1.5 years. And I learned so much about the field. Not only did I learn about the actual career, but everything around it as well. Ask the dentist about their experiences, the road they had to take to get to where they are, right? The highs and lows of dental school. If they own their own practice, then that could also be a really good tool to learn more information. Just take in as much knowledge as you can and make sure to observe the whole clinic, right? Not just the dentist, but the dental hygienist, the assistants. Is it a fairly positive or negative environment? All of that factors into the career that you're gonna choose. Now, it's no secret that applying to dental school can be extremely difficult. The process of shadowing, doing well in school, taking the DAT, interviews, personal statements, all of it can have quite a big mental toll. And I remember that for me, it wasn't any different. I was as stressed out as one could be and even considered quitting and switching careers at one point. But what helped me get my mind together, and the reason why I'm still here in dental school, is because I reached out for help and talked to a therapist. And because of my own personal experiences with therapy, I've teamed up with BetterHelp, who are the sponsors of this video. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. One cool thing is that you can pretty much customize the type of therapist that you want, whether it be their gender, age, religion, or even personality. First, you go to their website, which you can find my link in the description, and they'll have you answer a couple questions. And BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles just like yours. So if you're interested in therapy, if you have a lot on your mind and you want someone to talk to, BetterHelp will connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your home. Click the link in the bio to get a special discount and get started. Now let's get back to the video. Now let's say you've done that. Let's say you've shadowed and you know you want to choose dentistry. The next step is to really focus on your grades. And trust me, every grade does matter. The only C I got was in my senior year of high school. I was taking this intro to Spanish class at my local college. And I was 17 at the time. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really take it seriously, but that C stuck with me, right? It was on my college transcript and it took a hit on my GPA. Sometimes the easiest classes, if you don't take them seriously, they will impact your grades. And so make sure to really be on top of that. Obviously, a 4.0 is ideal, but you don't necessarily need one. Try to maintain a 3.7 or higher. I think I had a 3.74, but I also had a lot of other stuff on my resume that beefed it up, which we will get to later. In terms of school and actually studying, I'd say one thing I would change is my study method. I used to spend hours between studying and then checking my phone and then getting distracted with something else and then taking a break. The best study tip that I can give you, and it is the easiest and most effective, and I still use it to this day. Take your phone, take this thing right here, and just chuck it across the room. I didn't have to throw it. Put it in a different room. Out of sight, out of mind. I promise you that your productivity will double. You'll be done with your assignments in half the time. So you know you want to do dentistry. You're working really hard in your classes. Now is the time to diversify. You gotta spice things up. This is where you really start getting your extracurriculars in there. Get volunteering hours, go to a blood drive, volunteer at your local food market, start a pre-dental club at your college if you don't already have one. That's literally what I did. In my senior year of college, I started a pre-dental club, which made me the president, right? And I got to put that on my resume and talk about it and how it helped other students and a bunch of stuff, right? Keep in mind that this whole application process is a game. You just have to play the game correctly. You got to try to beef up your resume as much as you can in different aspects. So get involved with different things that you'll be able to put on your resume, and also build a relationship with your instructors, with your professors, because you will need letters of recommendation from them, especially your science professors, biology, chemistry, microbiome. And if you're really close with them, they can even help you with your personal statement, which is going to be a lot of help. Now, when it comes to the DAT, honestly, just use DAT Bootcamp. It's about $500. That's what I used over the summer. I think I spent 2 months studying it and I got a 24 on my DAT. I just studied with that for 2 months and I did really well. Obviously, everyone's schedule is a little different. Sometimes you have to study for the DAT while also taking classes. And if that's the case, then try to maybe be a bit strategic, right? Maybe that last term in your senior year, your junior year, whenever you're planning to study the DAT, maybe take less classes so you're able to give the DAT more time, because you do not want to put yourself in a position where you have to take the DAT again. You want to just take it once and get it done with. The nice thing about DAT Bootcamp is that they also give you a 60-day schedule and they tell you what to do every single day, what videos to watch, what chapters to read, and so it keeps you on track. The last thing you want to keep in mind is your personal statement. Now, there are great resources online on how to build a good personal statement for dental school, and there's even a lot of examples as well on really nice, touching personal statements. The one thing I will say and emphasize is it's a game. Like, this whole application process is a game. You can tweak the story in your personal statement a bit. It doesn't have to be a super genuine experience that happened to you. Just find something that is going to be touching, that appeals to your, passion for dentistry, and have experienced people, ideally people who are already in dental school, or maybe even instructors that will help you, that will look over it, and that'll give you some insight as to how to change it a bit. So now you can submit your application. Obviously, make sure that you have everything done and say Bismillah. One thing I'd recommend for you to do in the meantime while you wait is to look into scholarship. Obviously, dental school is not cheap at all. And so any way that you can relieve some of that expense is going to be an incredible help, especially if you're Muslim, because you want to avoid getting into the issues with interest and student loans and whatnot. There's a lot of different full ride scholarships that you can apply to that'll obviously cover your entire tuition for dental school. And the way those work is that you'll usually work for them the same amount of years that they pay off. So if they're paying 4 years of dental school for you, you will work for them for 4 years once you graduate. For example, I know there's the NHS or the HPSP, which is a military scholarship, and some of them, like the NHS, I think will put you in maybe low income cities or places with higher need. And so it might not be exactly what you want to do after graduating, but you are finishing dental school completely debt free. So it's hard to complain. Obviously, do more research into the different scholarships and see which one kind of best suits you. And obviously, in order to give yourself the best chance of getting that scholarship, make sure that you are beefing up your application as much as you can from now. This is where you want to get into the extracurriculars, just any sort of area that's going to make you stand out. So you submitted your application, and now let's say you got an interview to a dental school. Every dental school interview is going to be a little different. I think I interviewed at about 5 different schools. Each one had a different process. Some of them are going to ask you kind of the normal interview questions. Why did you choose dentistry? Tell me something about yourself. Tell me about a time where blah, 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 blah. Just like the normal interview questions. Other schools might give you just a bunch of hypotheticals that you can't really prepare for. You see a classmate planning to cheat on an exam. How do you go about that? Something like that. And so what you can do, and this is exactly what I did and it worked beautifully, is prep your answers for the commonly asked questions. Go on Google, type in commonly asked dental interview questions and make a list of about 15 of them and type your response for every single one of them as if you are literally giving that response in an interview. That will make you more prepared and help calm your nerves during your interview. Because if they ask you a question that you've already rehearsed 3 or 4 times, then you're chilling. You already know exactly what you're gonna say, and it makes you appear more confident as well. Make sure to also do research on the schools that you get an interview for. Usually they will let you ask questions towards the end of an interview, and always ask them questions because it shows that you actually care about this school. You've done your research. It definitely makes you look a lot better. And then the last piece of advice I would give to you is that connections are everything. Oh my God, I can't emphasize this enough. Go to dental conventions, right? Connect with the people with the admissions at that school. Maybe meet other pre-dental students. You guys are going to need each other. And if you can meet someone or already know someone who is going to that dental school you're applying for, that is going to be a huge help, because not only are they going to help you with the process that they've already been through, they can actually put in a good word for you at admissions, and that is going to really help your chances of getting in. Again, it is all a game, so just play the game. Give yourself the best possible chance of getting in. That is pretty much it. I apologize if I left anything out. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you are starting dental school, then I have a video on my biggest reflections after my first year of dental school. Definitely want to watch that one if you're interested in dentistry or if you're applying. But that is going to be it for me. I will catch you guys in the next video. Wassalamu alaikum.